Today's episode of TWIMMO is brought to you by Audible. For a free 30-day trial and to receive a free audiobook, just head on over to audible.com/gamebreakoff.
Game Breaker TV.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to This Week in MMO. It's episode 193 for July 13th, 2014. I'm Gary Gunn. You're watching Game Breaker TV, and coming up on today's show, we're going to talk about the free-to-play model. SOE shows off some dynamic weather in H1Z1, and the Witcher MOBA is what everyone has been waiting for. All that and more, but first, joining us, Mr. J.K. Kennedy. How are you, sir?
Doing really good tonight. Ready to go.
And joining us, we haven't talked to him in a while, looking a bit thinner, Mr. Magic Man Mike Byrne. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm fantastic, Mr. Gannon. It's good to be back here with the Jello Pudding Pops and the TWIMMOs. Oh, I've missed you, sir.
Yeah,
Mr.
we've all
Justin.
missed you. Look at you. Yeah,
Big
we're
hugs,
back.
Justin. Big hugs, Gary.
Big hugs. Big hugs. Littler hugs.
Littler
Dropping
hugs.
weight. You're dropping
Dropping
weight.
some weight. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good for you, brother.
Doing good. Doing good. 35. I got about 8 more to go before I'm at target weight. So doing well.
Sweet. You're getting me
He
motivated.
doesn't want to say the true reason why he's losing weight because he hasn't been playing any video games.
Exactly. He gets away from Game Breaker. He's like, I'm not sitting in this chair talking about games. I went outside. I got some vitamin D from the sun. I walked my kids. I instantly lost weight. All right, let's talk about the big thing this week. So, free to play, the model that everybody either loves, hates, or everybody seems to have an opinion on. But do you guys know who Richard Bartle is? A lot of nerds know who he is. Some people may not know who he is. You guys know who he is?
Oh, yeah.
So,
Mr. Bartle. Actually, I just found out about him again a day or two ago because they talked about the whole Bartle test thing in the Wildstar Path stream they did a few days ago. So I had to look it up. I couldn't quite remember what the hell he did.
A lot of MMO players might know who he is because he's kind of like nerd famous. He was co-creator on one of the first MUDs out there, the precursor to like MMOs. So when they were text-based, and then what really I think most people remember him for was he created something called the Bartle test, which basically, as a series of questions, he broke down the fact that MMO players, there were 4 different types of MMO players. So killers, explorers, achievers, and I don't know, people like Mike Byrne. Those are like the 4 categories.
Don't you lump me in with the socializers. I am not the role player. I am out of the 3 of us. You are the closest thing to the role player, Gary.
Probably
Come
true.
on.
Probably true. But that's kind of what made him famous. He made this quiz, and basically you took the quiz, and it kind of told you what type of player you were, and it's just like, it's been a thing for quite a long time. So this week he basically came out and said that the free-to-play business model was going to start to tail off because people will realize that they're basically being nickeled and dimed, which we have debated a lot on this show.
This isn't the
and
first time
others.
this has come up.
I think people have realized they've been nickeled and dimed for years now, right? I mean, we all can isolate specific companies that have tendencies to do that now. Everybody right now is all up in arms, especially if you're a Warframe player, about the whole Perfect World buyout there, specifically because that's a company that's most well-known for nickel and diming the hell out of their players.
What's your opinion on this, JK?
Man, we've hit this so many times every year. It's a question of free to play will it last. I mean, we came away from years ago where free to play is not going to make it, to free to play becoming the standard, to how long will free to play last, to now every MMO must be free to play. That idea coming out there, and now he's coming up saying it's just now. Yeah, and I guess it's trailing off now, according to him. I don't know if it's trailing off as much as we are just having maybe more diverse models of free to play that it's not going to look the same as it has over the past few years, maybe. And so buy to play works really well. Maybe he doesn't consider buy to play free to play.
I'm almost wondering what's Bartle got up his sleeve. Why is he like getting in the news with all of this? Like, why is he stirring this whole thing up? Is something else going on here? 'Cause it seems like a stir up to me. I don't know. I mean, yeah,
we game in the works.
I don't know. Is it a possibility? It's like it's odd to me that like he was out of like nowhere, and then all of a sudden he's like all over the news, like talking about this thing. It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it does seem like a rather unprovoked shit stirring, right? Nobody said anything bad about the Bartle model or anything like that, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a name we might not have heard for a while, and a lot of people might not know, all of a sudden wanting to talk bad. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something. I mean, that's the dude's life's work is video games and that type of catering to different types of players, but it's going to be interesting.
Well,
So,
it's interesting to see it come out now. With a couple months ago, SOE announced everything's free to play from now on.
Yep.
That's what they said. Okay, that's the way to go. We are doing nothing but free to play. And even Blizzard has come out with Hearthstone free to play. Has come out with Heroes of the Storm, which is a free to play game. And we can almost suspect that Titan might be free to play in the future. Whenever
What is
it
that?
comes out in 2020. But so. It's interesting that these big, huge companies are all gung-ho free-to-play now, and then he's going to come out and say this.
I don't know.
It's drawing attention.
Is it a trend? Are they just following a trend? I guess, will the trend go out and then like anything else? I mean, like movies are trends and topics are trends and companies follow those things. And they follow the trends. And then when they sort of die out, they change. I don't know. Could free-to-play be a trend? I mean, we've seen some companies really do it right and gamers really like it. And then we've seen a lot of companies do it really terribly and kind of screw it up and piss gamers off. I don't know. I think it still has legs. I don't see this tailing off. I don't see the free-to-play model going away. I mean, I understand the fact that like gamers don't want to be nickeled and dimed, and we know it when we see it. We can feel it, but at the same time, roof.
I still have the Beagle in case you guys couldn't.
In case you didn't know.
I still have the Beagle that barks at anything, grass, sky, no.
Grass is annoying. I bark at grass all the time. But so one of his big points about it was that there's a limited number of people out there in the gaming world that are willing to spend big dollars, and there's just too much competition for those people. So who knows what the number is? We've heard 1% of the people in free to play games actually spend money, but they spend a lot of money. So the more companies make free to play games, the more that those companies are trying to get that 1% in their game. As most people call them, they're the whales. They spend ridiculous amounts of money. But I don't know. I think more and more
Las
people
Vegas seems to have the same problem, though, right? A limited amount of whales that all the casinos are fighting for, and they seem to be doing just fine. It's not often that you see the casinos closing.
Not often at all. I don't know. I see more people being more open to spending money on free-to-play games as long as the free-to-play game gives them a good experience. It's kind of shifted. I think a few years ago, nobody wanted to pull out their credit card. Now a lot of people, I mean, I think all of us on this show help the crappy free-to-play games go away, and the ones that are nickel and diming people and kind of trying to screw gamers over to some extent, and you could see it. They would love to see that model go away. How much did you
spend on Age of Wushu? Come on.
Shh. Stop.
Well,
we're never supposed to talk about that.
I mean, WildStar is a sub game, but I still bought myself a cred. I'm just holding on to it to get some money and sell it. I mean, so there's other ways that you're being nickeled and dimed. I just thought getting plat game a lot easier.
That's the thing. If you really take those AAA games, like the titles that you're talking about, like a WildStar, which is like a hybrid, what about games like like League of Legends, Hearthstone, Dota, PlanetSide, World of Tanks? I mean, do you guys ever feel like you're being nickeled and dimed by any of those games that I just mentioned? Because I know I don't. I don't feel nickel and dimed by any one of those titles I just mentioned.
It's very much a choice in those. It's not like you're prevented from playing content. You're just prevented from maybe being a little bit customizable compared to others, or you may just have to go longer before you get it. But they don't have the extreme of you got to this point, now you got to pay $5 before you can play any more of this game. So, I mean, those seem to be fine.
We know it can be done
maybe
right.
Certain genres it works well with. Maybe there's certain genres that will die with it.
I know Burn thinks there's a lot of those genres that he wished would die. You're a big free-to-play MMO player, Burn. You've played a ton of them.
I am.
Like everything.
Yeah, I mean, before I was with Gamebreaker years ago, that's specifically, I worked for a site that was nothing but free-to-play. So I played all the crap and all the good ones. The great thing that I think about this particular market, the MMO RPGs or just the MMOs in general, is that it is very self-correcting. The bad ones that don't have the funding, that are doing it wrong, do have a nice way of dying quickly. Or they stick around for long periods of time because there's not a lot of money needed and a very small player base is enough to support it. I don't think it's going to die out anytime soon. People already know they're being nickeled and dimed, and that's why they gravitate towards the games they like. It doesn't matter how many whales are out there or how much they're spending. As long as the average revenue per user or per paying user, which is more important, is enough to sustain it, then fine. Shut up. Go play your stupid game that I can't stand.
So what do we think? Is Bartle just trying to rustle some feathers here for some
I think so.
unknown reason?
I think he's almost bringing media to him right now because I feel like something else is going to come out of his mouth sometime soon.
Well, we'll keep an eye on him. If you guys haven't checked out the Bartle test, you Google it. It's kind of fun. What do you guys fall under? Do you know?
A couple of minutes. So Explorer.
Yeah,
thus I went
here.
with the Explorer class in WildStar.
Same here. I hate the Explorer class.
Explorer path.
I don't like the Explorer path. The jumping puzzles drive me crazy. They're so frustrating. I'm like,
oh, love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it.
I'm not jumping puzzles. All right, let's move on. SOE, a big supporter of the free-to-play model. Like we said, every single thing coming out from SOE is going to be free-to-play.
Also, interestingly enough, a company that years ago had the stigma of not doing it right, and now is generally considered to be doing it pretty right.
Yeah, you're right. Their first, what was one of their first games they went free to play? Was it EQ2 or something around that time?
EQ2 was one of the very early ones, yeah. And then I think like the Star Wars.
I remember the grid. The grid of just options and craziness was just like, what are you guys doing? Yeah, but yeah, you're right. Yep. They kind of like honed it in. They finally dialed it in, and now they've got a pretty good model that everyone seems to accept. So. They showed off some dynamic weather this week. They got a game coming out called H1Z1, which is a zombie apocalypse survival game. I guess if I had to compare it to anything, I'd have to say Daisy. But it's going to be running on the Forge Light engine, which is beautiful engine. PlanetSide 2 runs on it. And they're adding dynamic weather, which I'm a fan of. It looks good. So you're gonna get some pics here where it shows, here's your terrain, just a nice sunny day. Here's getting some fog going. It's getting a little foggy, rolling in. I love really cuts down the visibility big time. Like it's not really no joke. Like you really can't tell if there's somebody across the way there who possibly has a bead on you with his sniper rifle right now, and you're in the crosshairs. Moving in, you get to see some looks like a little bit of snow kind of accumulating there a bit, and some dark stormy clouds, all the way on to just full on snow on the ground. Do we have any confirmation about like accumulation here? Like is it going to?
That's what I was wondering. Like, can the snow accumulate or start like a snowstorm coming by, or maybe even like slow down your movement because you got to check through the snow?
Well, that's what we would hope so. I mean, this is a zombie survival game.
This is a zombie
survival game for 24 hours because it's just 8 feet of snow and too damn cold to survive.
Well, I mean, in DayZ, you could die from hypothermia. Like it got too cold or it rained, you got cold, you had a temperature meter, went too low, and you stayed there too long. Yes, you were dying. That's it. You were going to get sick. You were going to die. So I would imagine that SOE is going to go at least that far. But this is a nice addition to this type of game. Here's another shot here. You got a nice sunny day in this one area, and then basically looking like some foggy and some storm clouds. And I can't quite tell, but could that possibly be a tornado? I mean, is that a tornado coming in?
I like chat saying that there should be plows to come out into the roads.
Yes, because in the zombie apocalypse, that's what you're gonna do. Maybe you gotta build one. You probably can build one.
Chat does say that they did release a video where the snow did seem to steadily build up as it is falling. So that's
when we got to start having snowmobiles in the game, skis, snowboards, riding down on his pair of skis with a gun and start shooting people. Come on.
Tornadoes would be sweet.
Tornadoes would be sweet. How about you take it one further and even have some natural disasters and towns, because apparently you're going to be able to build towns and stuff. What if tornadoes come through and just rip all your shit up and wreck your day? That's what I'm talking about.
Great. Now I get Ganon to grief me and the frickin' weather system.
And the
to
weather.
grief me.
The weather
So
system.
instead of Sharknado, we'll have a zombie tornado.
Where are you guys right now about H1Z1? So they had I feel like there was a ton of hype when it first kind of got, announced. I thought we would have been able to play it already. It's like, it feels like ages ago that we were told that we were going to play it.
Especially the way they advertised it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I called for this month. We haven't seen anything, though, and haven't announced anything, so I'm worried.
So we first heard about this, back in like April, right? Was when this just came out of nowhere?
I was still doing shows then when it was first announced, and so I kind of went on a little bit of a hiatus, at the beginning of May. So it would have been mid to late April that we just started talking about it, and all of a sudden, here we are in July with no hands on it yet.
Well, they say it's coming soon. TM.
That's what they said in April.
We do know it's coming on Steam Early Access. That's what we knew when it does finally show its face. I can't wait to check it out. I loved DayZ, and I'd like to see what SOE can do. I'm pretty excited about it. I like the addition of the weather effects. I do hope there's meaningful effects. I mean, they have to be, right? I'm going on a limb here, but these have to be meaningful effects. This would make no sense to be putting this in if this didn't have a large impact on the gameplay, right?
It has to. I think if they want this dynamic living world, they have to allow it to actually affect the game. It has to feel realistic, not that it's snowing, but it has no effect on me. If there's a tornado flying by and it has no effect on me, we've got a problem.
This is a tornado just seemed to cruise by. All right, now where was that wood I was looking for?
Yeah, it'd be nice. Another thing would be nice to see fires. Wonder if the system can do fires, because that would be nice.
Like
And
a brush fire, like out
yeah.
in your neck of the woods.
Yeah,
Well, they've
what if we
already
could-
shown it. They've already shown they can do a fire system. I mean, they showed it. They showed them being able to torch entire houses and stuff with a flame and things, and setting stuff on fire.
There
So
you
I don't
go.
see why it makes sense that they would have a brush fire or something just suddenly happen. And I don't know how you're going to put it out. We don't have helicopters with a bunch of water, so you're just
Who
going to have to live
knows?
with it.
I'm sneaking into Burns territory and then burning his shit down. That's all I know.
You son of a first
What about-
show in 3 months, and you start with that.
Who knows? Maybe maybe you can get sunburn. Sunscreen microtransaction. Anyone?
Oh my God. Right after we were just saying that they kind of do free to play right, now they're going to sell sunscreen.
I need plus 50.
And not only could they get the money off of you, but then they can go to like Coppertone, and you want to sponsor this shit?
There you go. There you go.
$5 for a fur hat during the winter.
The devs did talk a bit about. They did talk about tornadoes and stuff. I can't wait to see some more of that. I would like to see some. I think natural disasters would be a nice element to this. Just kind of mix things up with some randomness, not just be about the players, but also even have some natural disasters and kind of rip through towns and things like that and just destroy them. Yeah, I know there's a lot of potential here for destructibility, especially with this new engine. So it makes total sense for H1Z1 to kind of go this route. What's wrong, Brian? You look very angry.
I'm looking at chat, and chat they're already telling exactly what would happen if we were on the same server, that you would get a bunch of people and you would burn down the entire server, starting with my shed.
They've
Probably.
actually already realized this. They admitted, they said the fire mechanic they had was awesome, but then they realized the entire world would be aflame.
Would burn. Yeah. Which is isn't that what the zombie apocalypse would kind of be like? Wouldn't there just be like?
No, I would hope that we would, like, because we're friends, that we would, like, share the chicken and
No, that's not gonna happen. Come
Only
on,
as long
LA
as
is
you
gonna be
slow it.
LA will be in flames when the zombie apocalypse hits. This place will be burned to
but
the
that
ground.
doesn't mean that you have to walk all the way to the East Coast simply to burn my shit down, Gan.
Yes, it does burn. Yes, it
The
does.
only reason you're getting in shape is so you're ready for the zombie apocalypse.
So I'm ready for Ganon when he gets here.
All right, I'm going to move on. But really, first, I'm going to talk about our sponsor, Audible. Love having Audible on as a sponsor for TWIMMO. If you guys have not checked out Audible, I want to hook you up with a free 30-day trial and a free audiobook just by using the URL audible.com/gamebreaker. That is the URL you want to use. Go sign up, make an account, download the app to your Android or your iPhone or your Kindle or whatever you got, your iPad. I got a good one for you, Burn. Check this one out. It's a nice pick this week. It's a good one. Talking about the zombie apocalypse, The Walking Dead, Rise of the Governor, book 1. This is book 1. It comes in about 11 hours. Let's give it a little listen.
The heavy breathing of humans. The shambling footsteps of another moving corpse. The whistle of an axe. The thunk of steel sinking into flesh. And finally, the big finale. The splat of moist, dead weight on the slimy parquet. Another break in the action sends fever chills down Brian's spine. The silence closes in again. Eyes now adjusted to the darkness. Brian sees the first shimmer of thick, arterial blood seeping under the bottom of the door. It looks like motor oil.
Slowly walks to the shed.
He gently yanks his niece away from the spreading puddle, pulling her back against the boots and umbrellas along the back wall. The hem of Penny Blake's little denim dress touches the blood. She quickly pulls the fabric away and frantically rubs at the stain.
And takes Burns' chicken that he doesn't want to share. Check it out. That's The Walking Dead, Rise of the Governor, book 1. Clock's at about 11 hours. Could be yours for absolutely free. Just go over, sign up, make an account. Audible.com/gamebreaker. By supporting Audible, you directly support Gamebreaker. So we thank you very much for having Audible on board as a sponsor on the show and all the other shows right here on Gamebreaker. Check it out again. That URL you want to use is audible.com/gamebreaker. All right, you guys know I think you both know I'm a huge fan of The Witcher. Probably just a bit. Probably my favorite RPG of all time.
That was the first game Gannon ever gifted me on Steam.
Yes.
Because he did it to everybody that happened to be online that day. I'm pretty sure he spent $400 on $8 copies of The Witcher 2. Hey, Bern, do you have Witcher 2? Yeah, I've played it on the Xbox. Oh, you need to play it on the PC. Open up your Steam real quick. What? Wait, what?
You needed to play it. Everybody needs to have that game. I feel like it's that game. You need to have it. I'm excited to always hear about Witcher stuff. I can't wait for Wild Hunt. It's gonna be. But this is what is this? So I'm super excited for Wild Hunt. And I love CD Projekt Red, but a Witcher MOBA, not what I was really expecting. Kind of came somewhat out of nowhere. I don't know. Multiplayer was MOBA, maybe. What do you think the play here is? Why do you think a MOBA? I'm almost wondering if this actually, hear me, I think this could actually be a good move, right? I think there's still a lot of people out here who don't know the Witcher series. It's gaining more and more steam, but I still feel like Witcher 2 was still kind of like a cult thing. It was like people loved it. And now it's CD Projekt and the Witcher series is kind of breaking into mainstream where a lot of like mainstream gamers are hearing about it and getting excited about it. I wonder if this is a play to kind of just like, this MOBA is also going to be, if I didn't mention, a mobile MOBA. So it's not even, I don't even think it's coming to desktop, which makes it even more. They're like, huh?
Yeah,
it seems kind of odd.
Play.
But is it a play to kind of like broaden the IP to a lot of other gamers who normally just have not heard about The Witcher or wouldn't normally touch a game like that, hear about the IP, get a good experience about it, then maybe look for something else about the game and then find out about this amazing RPG series?
I don't know. See, now, in the U.S., Canada, all of NORAM pretty much, The Witcher, I agree with you, is kind of culty and niche-y. It doesn't have a massive following, but it is super big in Europe. Being developed in Europe, there's a lot of pride going on there, and they just love the games. This is an odd play for me, though. I understand the idea of marketing your IP to other platforms, but you also have to do it in a way that sells the base product, right? And this doesn't. We're going to put a mobile MOBA out there in the hopes that you will see the Witcher title and then go and play our actual Witcher games that are nothing like the game we just enticed you to play at all. It's an odd marketing play if that's the sole reason for it.
It doesn't fit their style either. Like, I mean, there's not a story in the MOBA most likely, and if there is, it's probably not that great. The characters, I mean, we have obviously the iconic character in Witcher and stuff, but I mean, are we just doing monsters now throughout the world, or the other characters aren't going to seem that important or that cool to really want to play in the MOBA? I'm not really sure what they're going for here. I mean, the only thing that makes any sense is the PR of it. And
yeah, I mean the MOBA for what we know, there's going to be like different modes to the game. I don't know exactly about story or exactly if Geralt, I would assume, is going to be in it, but there's going to be some different modes: monster hunting, boss fights, no minions, so that's going to be somewhat different. I guess they're calling it.
I do like the idea of the monster hunting, because the idea of another MOBA makes me want to shoot myself in the face.
Yeah, they say it's different.
I do like these little twisted caveats. Like there is a PvE type stuff with the monster hunting, and not strictly 3 lanes, go do it, have fun. I do kind of like the twists on it. I'm not a big mobile guy, and I'm even less a MOBA guy, mobile than MOBA. But I do like the little twists.
My question for this is, if they're releasing and working on this MOBA now, what's happening with Cyberpunk?
Oh, I'm sure it's being worked on. Come on. I don't think the Cyberpunk team has been pulled over on the casual MOBA. Like, I think that's safe to say. I don't know. I don't know what to play with this. I mean, this could be really good. I mean, until we really get our hands on it and play this thing. I mean, what if somebody in the office kind of was, they're in experimentation mode and just struck gold on something that's actually really fun? I could just be a really fun game. It's so we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it could be a nice play to get more people outside of the Witcher series just knowing about the IP and kind of another extension. I mean, we see games like you see Mass Effect mobile games, like, right? They don't give you the same Mass Effect experience, but some of them are actually pretty good. So we've seen it in other genres do the exact same thing. So kind of just an extension.
All right, so then let me ask the kind of dickish question here: is it just a cash grab then? Because I would argue that a lot of those Mass Effect things and those big name IPs that are in the United States here that you see very big, heavy followings, when they do those spin-offs, there's not a whole lot to most of them. It's just kind of grab a little bit of extra cash. Is this the same type of deal then?
Well, you don't really know until you play it.
It's not a company whose presence and face, at least to the PC crowd especially, would indicate that would be a way they would go ever. I mean, they're very much anti jerks in the sense of the gaming scene and stuff. I mean, they're not an EA, they're not an Activision, and that's what people love about them in a sense. So it'd be really odd if they went that way. But when you hear going mobile, it really makes you wonder, because big name IPs going mobile is usually a cash grab.
I'm going to put my bet.
Uh-oh, here we go. Predictions.
I'm just gonna put not a prediction. I'm just gonna put my bet on the CD Projekt Red that they're actually gonna do right by this, because I feel like they're sticklers for really doing a really good job, and I don't think you could come out of creating an IP like The Witcher. I don't think that they're gonna put something out to tarnish The Witcher. Like, I think that they're very in tune with how much people love it and why they love it. I don't see them putting something out to kind of tarnish the reputation of The Witcher. So that's what I'm thinking. I think it's gonna be good. Might not be for everyone, but I think it's actually going to be probably good. All right, last up this week in this LOL news, Firefall is officially launching on July 29th. A couple weeks away. How long has Firefall been in beta now? Is this like
year 4, 5? I don't know.
I did a first look video on that for the previous site I worked for 3 years ago. When it just started beta and it was actually really hard to get into the beta. I interviewed Mark Kern about it 2 years ago, who's no longer with the company. Well, better late than never, I guess.
I gotta say there were points in the mix of beta that I actually really enjoyed this game. Points. It changed frequently that you couldn't. If you liked it this week, it was like Game of Thrones. It was dead next week, and then
you were addicted to it for a while.
Yeah, it was fun. Like I said, it was like your favorite character killed off the week later. The game, they were just like, "Hey, we're gonna do all PvP next week. Oh, we're just gonna remove PvP from the game completely." What? What? How does that happen? How's my?
We found out that only 3% of our player base is actually doing PvP. Well, that's a crap.
Has anyone? That
was one of those current things, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It just came in, like half the people didn't even know they were removing it until he posted the letter on the forums saying that he was removing PvP, and they're just all like, "What's going on? What are we doing in the game?"
So has anyone jumped in lately? Now I'm absolutely really curious about seeing where they at.
I'm gonna download it.
I would imagine that because you can get back in now. It officially launches on the 29th, but you can.
Yes, but it's only free for heroes, according to the commercial.
And what is
heroes play free?
What makes you a hero?
Limited time offer. So you have to buy digital deluxe edition or a digital starter pack.
Now I have a question. I haven't figured it out, but I already paid $100 or $150. I don't know how much money I've given them already. Do I get access to this?
I would hope you do.
Yeah.
Your account's got to still be.
I'm making fun of their advertising more than anything. There, heroes play free was a funny way of going anybody. I think the last time I played this, Gary, was actually with you and a couple Game Breaker Nation peeps, and that would have been like back in January, December, January. And there wasn't much to do. We were just bouncing around from cave to cave, blowing everything out of it, and then off to the next cave. No real point to what we were doing, except to hang out.
So where? I mean, yeah, I'm curious. I think we have some homework to do, and get back in and just. I'm particularly very curious to see where the game is at this point, because if they're launching, they must have, I think, forged forward and gotten to some sort of other place, and I'm curious to see what that place is, because like I said, the game changed so many times, so much, just constantly like jumping all over the place, that I can't even imagine like what it is. I mean, looking at this list of stuff that they're like, promoting, it sounds like the same game.
I mean, I messaged Firefall the other day on Twitter trying to figure this out, and I asked him. I said, "Is there any resource they have that shows the difference of how the game has changed over the past half year?" The response they gave me is that apparently there's not one source, but if you read their Path to Launch blog series, whatever that is, I gotta find it. Apparently, it covers the biggest updates. So, I guess
large
we gotta
open
check
world,
that out
explore diverse environments. Okay, craft
and
and collect resources. Yep, same thing. Jobs. There's a job board. I don't remember if that was in there. I don't remember a job board. I think that may be new, but I don't know what that means.
What it sounds like.
Yeah, and then that's it. Special offers available now. So that's I don't know, but July 29th all will be revealed, I guess. I don't know. Sure.
Or you can pay and get into it right now.
There you go. I'm gonna check. Mike Byrne, thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure, sir. Good to be here.
Follow Mike Byrne on Twitter at MagicMan, MIGICKMANN1. And I would say he's on TWIMMO, but he's not. I would say he's on XIV Nation, but he's not. I would say he's part of Game Breaker, but just follow him on Twitter.
Oh my God, I hate you.
You have been.
We miss you, buddy. You gotta come back. We miss you. JKK, follow him on Twitter at JK Kennedy TV. On the Twitters, right here on TWIMMO when we do record it. He is part of TWIMMO. He's part of. And you can follow.
It's good to be back.
Don't you miss the trolling? Don't you? Come on.
Yes, the birdie.
I do very much.
That's it. Follow me at Gary Gannon. Follow Game Breaker TV, Go to Facebook and follow us there. And big announcement coming this week for all you YouTubers and live streamers out there. You're going to want to pay attention to this. The game's changing. We're changing it. So big announcement for anyone out there who creates YouTube videos or a live stream. So, all right, we'll see you next week for some more This Week in MMO. Have a great week.